What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about how Canadians view American culture. I'm a little nervous about this one. I have seen videos like this before. This is someone that is going to be walking around asking random Canadians in Montreal, I believe, what they think about Americans, American stereotypes, how they view American culture, and I find this kind of stuff fascinating. And Americans have so many opinions on like what Canadian culture is like, and so many stereotypes of Canada that it's kind of fun for me to flip the table over a little bit and shine the light back on America and see how Canadians view America. And I don't know, these kinds of videos always have unpredictable results, which I think is one of the reasons I am both nervous and very excited. And I'm going into this with an open mind because I think it's a learning experience as well, hearing not only what people from around the world have to say about how they view America, but specifically how Canadians view America is very important to me. And, Canada is in such a close relationship to America, and yet Americans tend to not know much about Canada, and it's kind of strange. And I think overall, Canadians know a lot more about America, but I also think what are the types of things, what are the generalizations and stereotypes Canadians have about Americans? I'm curious about that too. So for those reasons, I think I have to stop procrastinating here and just start the video. Let's see how Canadians view Americans. Let's go.
When it comes to stereotypes, what are some stereotypes that Canadian people have about Americans?
Ooh, I won't get shot, will I?
You won't get shot, no.
That might be one of them.
What? What? Wait, what? What? Did she say I won't get shot? I won't get shot? That's not good. If she insults Americans, we're gonna shoot her or something, or that's not good. That's not a good, is she joking? Or I feel like how most jokes are, there's a little bit of truth in the joke. But, oh my gosh. Now I'm curious what she thinks about Americans, because it seems to be not positive, starting off.
To stereotypes, what are some stereotypes that Canadian people have about Americans?
Ooh, I won't get shot, will I?
You won't get shot, no.
That might be one of them.
That they are, rude, loud, aggressive.
Rude, loud, aggressive. That's the thing. It's like, are these really stereotypes, or is there just truth to this? Because I feel like, from what I've learned about some things about when Americans travel around the world and travel to Canada, it's not so difficult to point us out. Because we literally act differently, and by differently, like, our behavior is literally more noticeable because we're a little louder in volume, more aggressive, willing to be confrontational, willing to say our opinions when no one cares, kind of thing. So, I don't know. I wish that was just a stereotype. I wish that was just a generalization, but this is not the first time I've heard that. So that's concerning.
Of them.
That they are, rude, loud, aggressive.
They're fat, crazy. They are poor in culture. They don't know their geography.
They eat a lot.
They don't. Okay. We don't know our geography. That's not even a stereotype. That's just the truth. Americans don't know geography. Americans, barely know where any country is around the world. When it comes to Canada, Americans don't know, where any of the provinces are, or what the major cities, or where they are, and, how south Canada actually extends down into the United States. That blew my mind. like a couple of months ago when I learned about that. And I'm going out of my way to learn about it. So just imagine like other Americans who don't. Man, anyway, I didn't mean to go on such a tangent, but he hit the nail on the head with the don't know their geography.
That's crazy.
I feel called out. I feel personally called out.
Poor in culture. They don't know their geography.
They eat a lot, do everything big, a lot of obese people.
Any other stereotypes that you can think of?
Wow.
So two of them have mentioned like obesity and weight. And obviously that's not every American, but I think just purely on statistics alone, this is hard to argue against because I think Americans are unhealthy compared to like the world, Canada and the world. Americans, like, based on data, are not healthy. So probably a good point.
Rednecks, cowboys, freedom, eagles, bombs, war.
The fact that
That was the best list ever. See, I go between like kind of cringing and being like, oh, I don't want to hear all the criticism, to like, I actually kind of in a sick way enjoy some of the criticisms of Americans, some of the generalizations, because it's just entertaining and insightful. Honestly, I don't take any of it personally. So I actually loved the list this guy was saying. Eagles, guns, food.
Poor in culture. They don't know.
Any other stereotypes that you can think of?
Wow, rednecks, cowboys.
Cowboys. Cowboy. Yeah. I mean, cowboys just running around all over the place here. You gotta watch out for those cowboys running around.
Freedom, eagles, bombs, war.
the fact that Americans really like guns, more towards the southern states, that they don't think globally. They don't understand politics outside of their domain.
That's true. I mean, some of these things are a little bit generalized. Like, I'm trying to not be too biased here. Some of these are like generalizations, and some of these are like kind of spot on with like gun ownership and pride in like the Second Amendment and owning a gun in like the southern states of America. Certainly, Americans not understanding politics outside of America. That's definitely true.
Comes to stereotypes, what are some stereotypes that Canadian people have about Americans?
Probably that there's a lot self-centered. They eat a lot of fats, and like it's, basic stereotypes that we see from the outside.
Man, see, like, eating unhealthy, I can live with that stereotype, but it makes me a little sad. Some of the other stereotypes, the generalizations, like that Americans are self-centered. That's like when your parents are like, I'm disappointed in you. Like, you'd rather your parents, like, Canada being the parent here. I'd rather them just be like, oh, you did something dumb. But instead it's like, they're disappointed in you. When Canadians are like, Americans, they're selfish. I hear that and I'm like, dang, that's sad. That's the idea that a lot of Canadians have when they think of Americans.
But I'd have to say a lot of self-centered attitude. Yeah, like they're leaders of the free world. That's the one expression they say all the time. Like they elect a new president and
like that Americans think they know best. Maybe that kind of attitude that we can do no wrong, or that we know, like that Americans think we know how things should be run and that we're doing everything correctly. I think that attitude is starting to change. Like, a lot of Americans are very critical of America. Like, within America, there's many Americans who are vocally critical of America these days, and especially on the internet and social media. So I think there was a time when Americans were definitely like, America can do no wrong. We are the best, and we're proud to say it. I think that era is starting to kind of go away, and more and more Americans, especially younger people, are starting to be like, no, like, we're not the greatest thing ever, and we actually could do a lot of things better. So, And obviously, that's a much more productive attitude to have.
And he's the leader of the free world. Like, what is this free world thing? It's a country, from as far as I know. They're the best in the world, you know.
When it comes to
Yeah.
stereotypes, what are some stereotypes that Canadian people have about Americans?
That they don't like us as much as we like them. They kind of have like a stigmatism towards us.
Why do you think that?
Huh, that's interesting. I think most Americans would say they either would say they don't know what to think about Canada or that they have a positive opinion of Canada. I think she's saying that Canadians like Americans more than Americans like Canadians. I think Americans think Canadians are great. A lot of Americans want to move to Canada. I don't know if Americans quite understand exactly why they should want to move to Canada, or that there's actually more good reasons than they know about. But this is kind of like the opposite of what I thought.
Why do you think they have stigmatism?
'Cause we're so far up compared to them. Like, and I don't know, maybe they think we have an accent compared to them.
Canadians are like the distant cousins, and like Americans just don't want to talk to them during the family reunion.
Probably, or they're the ones who they make fun of.
So where'd you get these stereotypes
Okay.
from?
I think How I Met Your Mother. Do you know how Barney always makes fun of us?
When it comes
Oh my gosh. Oh, because she watches a TV show where Americans make fun of Canadians. That's like, all right, I'll admit it. Like, there are stereotypes of Canadians that are not flattering, but it's mostly silly stuff. Like, Canadians eat maple syrup and live in igloos. It's not like that Canadians are mean or uneducated people. Quite the opposite. I think Americans have a pretty high opinion of Canadian healthcare and education and worldliness. I don't know. This one really has me questioning things.
to stereotypes, what are some stereotypes that Canadian people have about Americans?
Yeah, we would say probably ignorance at some point. All of them are grown up children.
McDonald's children?
McDonald's children.
McDonald children. McDonald children? I've never even heard that phrase in my life. What is McDonald like we're raised on McDonald's? Like as kids? What? Isn't that normal? You all didn't have like a McDouble for breakfast? Or no, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Or am I? No, I'm joking. McDonald children. Okay. And what they say that we're ignorant. It does feel like the more I learn about stuff, like Americans just don't know stuff about other countries. Americans are very focused on what's happening in America and nothing else. And you could call that ignorance for sure. So, in that sense, I would agree.
Ignorance at some point. All of them are grown up children.
McDonald's children?
McDonald's children.
They're all related to Ronald McDonald?
All of them all have like guns and stuff.
They'll come on my
they're all
property.
walking around having guns and stuff, and they're super like anal, like don't trespass.
Yeah.
So they got like McDonald's and one.
All running around with guns and don't want you to trespass. There's parts of America where that's true, and there's parts of America where that's really not true. I guess that not too shocking, huh?
One hand and the gun in the other.
Yeah, drive through.
What they say? What he say? Like McDonald's in one hand and a gun in the other? Yeah, exactly. That's an American.
I don't want this Walter. Get out of here.
They're fat people. They don't work really hard. They exploit the immigrants, and basically all the bad things we say about white people in general, could be applied to Americans.
Okay, you know how you
Okay.
know there's an American in Montreal? I'll tell you right here, right now, and you'll never forget this for the rest of your life, man. If you see a polo shirt, if you see anyone wearing a dress shirt that's opened, or
Huh?
you see a tan and they have like some kind of accent, you know they're from the States.
You know when you go.
Oh, sheesh. Okay, I know. I gotta throw out all my button-up shirts that I keep buttoned up. I unbutton just a little. Gotta throw them all out. Dang it.
Like the vacations, like in.
Like some kind of accent, you know they're from the States.
You know when you go to like the vacations, like in South, and you meet those super douchey Americans that are super loud. I'm American. Like, man, I know you're Canadian. You live in English. And they're fucking drunk and hammered.
Oh no. Oh boy. I gotta say, like, they're kind of talking about American, like, frat boys or like American college kids who are like super like bros, dudes. American dudes and bros and college kids like going crazy, and those Americans annoy like the rest of Americans. So that's not even just Canadians who are annoyed by that. That's definitely yeah. That the stereotypical like American party kids that's actually kind of true.
They're super loud and obnoxious. That's like big stereotype.
I'm American, you know. I'm American. American. They actually say that though. Like,
Some guy posts
I'm
on his
American.
wall, he's like, I'm American.
I'm American. Yeah. It's just how they do it, but it's cool. Yeah, right? Like generality of the American people, I'd say, would be like outgoing, but like a bit sometimes too much.
That Americans perceive themselves. Are you American?
I'm American, but I have tough skin. Hit me.
Okay. That Americans perceive themselves as the center of the earth.
Center of the earth.
Yeah.
You think
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I would venture to say that people who live in any country around the world, it's okay if they have pride in their country and they think their country is important and worth putting effort into. That's okay. Where it gets not good is if you think you're the center of the world. Do Americans think they're the center of the world? I'll say it again, maybe in the sense that Americans really don't care what's going on anywhere else. But maybe this is my bias that I'm even trying to argue this point. But I think it's a little different because Americans, it's not that Americans think, or this is just a generalization, or at least my opinion, it's not that Americans think America is the greatest, most important thing. It's that Americans are just too lazy to learn about what's going on in the rest of the world. So it's a slightly different. It's more that Americans are a bit lazy and don't want to learn about the rest of the world and what's going on. They can do that and simultaneously not necessarily think America is the most important, greatest, only thing that matters. So, I don't know. Small difference. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but there you go.
think it's true?
No. I think it's no. I don't think it's true. I think there are some Americans that do think that way. Yeah.
And where'd you get these stereotypes from?
Sure.
I think that basically, traveling to the States, being in other countries with Americans while they're traveling.
Yeah. Especially, since she's mentioning this, when Americans go to other countries, Americans sometimes don't bother to learn about the local culture and the local customs. So it's Americans come across like they don't care. Like it's not important to learn about where they're going or how to behave or local customs. And that can come across like Americans are just saying, well, how we do it is the right way, and screw your culture. We're going to come and do whatever we want and act like Americans, and I don't care if it offends you. And in that sense, I totally get it. But sometimes it's just that Americans are not trying to literally say that they're the best, but they're just not thinking about researching where they're going and whether it's appropriate or not. It's like Americans I don't know, the more I talk about it, the more it still just seems bad. So I would say Americans are definitely ignorant, but not necessarily these days, like thinking that America is the absolute pinnacle of existence. But they definitely don't know about other countries and how stuff works around the world at the same time.
And just basically, discussions with people, and also you read about it, you hear about it, we talk about it as a country, we talk about it.
Sure.
What are some stereotypes we have about the Canadians?
Oh wow, he did one where he asked Americans about Canada. That's good. Anyway, that's for another time. For now, this was very good. I really do enjoy these. Even though some of the topics are a little, literally calling out Americans on stereotypes and certain behaviors, and, you know, it's all just good. It can be productive. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that it can be productive. It's actually a good thing. And I don't know. I kind of enjoy learning about what people around the world think of America, because when you're just sitting here like me, inside America, living in America, it's impossible to know how someone who has grown up their whole life in Canada, what they have experienced and how they perceive America. It's impossible for me to know. So this is one of the only ways I can kind of get that information. And I find it very enlightening, entertaining, good for me even. So I actually do enjoy these. And this was a good one. This was by The Yaffa Show. And I got to give it a like, because that was good. I appreciate all these people for giving their true, honest opinions on this, on camera, and putting it on the internet. Like, I no hard feelings. Like, I appreciate it, honestly. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture and stuff about Canada that I've never seen or learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.